Hi, everybody. I'm Alyce-Kay Reckelhaus from Threshold of Hineni and the Widow Reckelhaus. And I realized that I haven't done an update in quite a while, and things have really changed for me. So I wanted to update you on personally what's going on. Um, so there are a couple of reasons for wanting to do this, and I will admit that probably at least 50% of it is for myself. So I'm being selfish doing this. Because it helps me to think through things when I feel like I'm talking to people. Um, and so I don't know, talking on video for some reason is just helps me to work through things better because it's like I'm alone, but somebody's listening. So if that makes any sense, I hope it makes some sense. Anyway, so it's partly for that. And then also because I have found that my videos about, my experiences since my husband was killed in a car wreck 2.5 years ago, a little bit more than 2.5 years ago, have helped quite a few people. And so, I want to keep doing that. So anyway, so I hit a new thing in my grieving process, which was just really weird. I was doing really well. Sorry, I'm trying to fix this so that the shadow's not there. I was doing really well and, still having some depression and everything. And I think maybe part of that is PTSD, because it was such a traumatic thing. It wasn't like he had cancer or something, so we were prepared for it. It was, it just happened. And that was pretty traumatic. So I think that's part of what I'm going through. And I realized that after my dad died, because my mom is doing so much better. But she pointed out, that Bill dying was a lot more traumatic and that she had been preparing for my dad to die. So she was ready for that. And he was in a lot of pain and everything. And so, we all felt like it was, his best when he passed away too. And so that was a whole different thing from Bill dying. And so that's made me think a little bit more about that. And then also just recently, okay, so the anniversary of when he died is July 14th. So it's still like 3 months away. Yeah, 3 months away. And lately, when I see memories come up on Facebook, how they put up your memories every year or so, oh, this happened 3 years ago, this happened 5 years ago, that kind of thing. I see memories from 3 years ago when Bill was still alive, but he was going to die in 3 months. And it hits me like, oh, you were so naive and happy because you didn't know what was going to happen, but now I know what's going to happen. And so it's like I was really, really on edge. And then finally, and I think that, God must have put this idea in my head. I just had the idea of watching my video from when I told you all about, that Bill died. It was a couple days after he died that I told you all. And I watched that. And of course I cried and cried and cried through it, but it really helped. It was like it took away that anxiety that the enemy was trying to put on me of this is coming up, like it was going to happen or something. I mean, it was just really weird. And so that helped a lot. And then I've been reading this book, and it's on my Kindle, but I'm gonna try to show you anyway. Oops. Oh, it's not gonna, there we go. I've got a fake background up. That's why it's doing that. Okay, so it's called Stay With Me, and I'll put the link below in the description box. And by the way, you guys, when somebody puts a link below in their description box and it goes to Amazon, you'll notice I have a little notice at the bottom telling you this, but we get a little bit of a referral fee. It's not very much. Sometimes it's like 4 cents. I'm really excited when I get 50 cents for something. So it's not very much, but it does add up, and it doesn't cost you anymore. So it doesn't cost you any more than if you bought it just, going straight to Amazon is what I'm saying. So if you use somebody's link, it really, really helps them out. I mean, usually in a month, I might get like $10 or so. I think this month I might be getting $12. Oh, yay. But that's a day's food, so it really, really helps. And for a lot of us, like for me, I'm doing YouTube mainly as a ministry. So like, I'm teaching Bible studies. Like if I was at a church, I am at a church, but I'm not teaching at my church. If I was teaching at a church, I would be doing this. And so, it's okay with me that there's like, 10 or 12 people watching, because that's probably what I'd have at a church or something. So it's not a big deal. And you know, and I'm doing it just like I would at a church. But because it's on YouTube, there's also the potential for getting a little bit of money. I'm not making any money from YouTube yet because I have to have 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's 4,000 hours of watch time, you know, people watching my videos in a year. And then I can start getting advertising money, which again doesn't cost you anything, but it helps the YouTube creators out when you do that, because then YouTube already puts ads on a lot of my videos. If it's more than 100, I think they put ads on it, but I don't get any money from that. But we start getting money from those ads if we have enough subscribers and enough watch time. So just that, you know, you really are helping people out when you do that. You're helping them to make a living so that they can make more videos or write more books or whatever. So it's really helpful. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for liking and subscribing, because then that gets YouTube to show my videos to more people. And so then they're reached with, you know, whatever the Bible study is that I'm doing. Plus it works towards me being able to get some money from it. And my long-term goal is to be able to make enough money from YouTube so that I can offer classes on here for free with the advertiser money paying for it, so that you're not having to pay for anything. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping to do. So anyway, I'm reading this book, Stay With Me, and I'll put the link in the bottom. And, you know, and if you click on that, even if you don't buy the book, if you buy something else from Amazon within 24 hours, I will get a little bit of a kickback probably. So that just really helps. So thank you in advance. I'm reading this book, which a friend suggested to me because it's just a good read, and it really, really is a good read. I recommend it. But I'm going to see if I can find it really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to read some things that I highlighted, because this, I think, might help me with where I am stuck in my grief. The character in here is dealing with an addiction, and I don't think I'm dealing with an addiction, but I think this just really resonated with me. I think it'll really help. So her counselor is telling her, dopamine's a neurotransmitter. It regulates emotional responses, among other things. 30 days into recovery, some of your dopamine will get back to work. At 60 days, even more. At 90 days, it should all be back at work and clicking right along. And that resonated with me because I feel like I'm really detached. Like when something, it's kind of like my emotions, they haven't turned off, because I still cry sometimes, but not very much. And it's like things don't really matter to me, you know. And it's like when something good happens, if I'm around people, I try to have a happy response and stuff, but I don't really feel that inside. And if something bad happens, I don't really care very much, which I know is not good. And so reading this, that just like really resonated with me, that, okay, maybe I need to work somehow on getting that dopamine back. So here's what her counselor is telling her. Some of these books you can get some good teaching from. Her counselor is telling her, you'll have to take exceptionally good care of yourself mentally and physically. Healthy food, exercise, water, sleep, those things will quicken your body's ability to rid itself of the drugs that she was taking. But it would also quicken your ability to start being healthy, so that those neurotransmitters are working right, and so that the dopamine would be going, I would think. I am not a doctor, so I don't know for sure, but that's just kind of my guess. That's what I'm thinking here. And I have been really working on my health lately. I was recently diagnosed with diabetes. I also mentioned in my last doodling video about autism. And so I'm not going to repeat all that right here. I'll put a link to that video in here if you want to hear about that. But yeah, I was diagnosed with autism, and I'm not upset about that. That was a real blessing, because it explained so much. And I talk about that in the video, in the other video, so I don't need to talk about it here. But so because of the diabetes, I'm really working hard on taking care of myself. I have not taken care of myself since Bill died. There was a couple months where I lived on Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, yeah, really bad. And I haven't been cooking for myself. I was actually, for some reason, kind of afraid to cook for some reason. And now I'm cooking for myself again, and checking my blood sugar and working really hard on getting that under control and stuff. And I've lost quite a bit of weight. And so yeah, so I'm really working on that. The thing that I have the most trouble with, and I also kind of want to ask you to be praying for me, even if you just say a prayer right now for me. is sleep. That seems to be something that I can't really control. I'm taking all kinds of herbs, plus I'm taking Tylenol PM, which is not good long term, and I've been taking it for a few years. So I really want to get off of that. But I need to get more sleep. I have had, okay, so after I was really, really sick coming back from New Mexico when my dad died, and I was really, really sick. And so for like a couple weeks after that, I slept like 10 hours a night. So that was good. And I felt like, okay, I'm starting to catch up on the sleep deprivation that I've had since I was 12. And then with my blood sugar, sometimes I have days where it's kind of low, and I've slept 16 hours in a day because I take these naps because I just can't even keep going. But most of the time I'm sleeping anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. And sometimes, yeah, I don't think I've been sleeping less than 4 hours lately, but I need to get more like 8 to 9 hours. And that's something that I've struggled with for years. So I would really, really appreciate your help, because I think that that will help in my healing, both physically, because with diabetes, you need to have enough sleep to help focus, to help defeat that, and to reverse it. That's the word I'm trying to come up with. And just, you need sleep for anything to be healthy. It's just really important, and I struggle with that. So if you could be praying for that. But I'm working on eating right and exercise, and I've always drunk lots of water, so that's not a problem. Okay, and then here, and this is what part of the reason that motivated me to do an update. It says you'll need support from friends and family, the more the better. And so I'm kind of looking for support from you guys, prayers or just encouragement, or if you know me, whatever, just whatever. Prayers would be the most helpful, the most beneficial thing, but encouragement would really help too. And then the other thing that encouraged me to do this update is her name's Sandra, and her last name is something like Gawalski or something like that. And I know I'm getting that wrong. I will link her video below, but she's a new widow. She's been widowed for 3 months, and she's been sharing. And I realized how much that helped me, hearing from her. And then I also remembered how much it helped me to do the videos. And so I just thought, I really want to let everybody know what's going on, and ask for your help and your support, and also let you know I'm doing better than I had been probably when I did my last video. So you can rejoice with me too. And that's something that's coming up in a second. So anyway, so then the next thing is, she says, we'll carve out a daily schedule for you to follow. And that's something I've actually been working on. And I've been working on it. I started working on it in December, or maybe more like January, the beginning of January. And I was really getting into a routine, which included a lot of self-care, which I need to be doing. But then I had to go to New Mexico and be with my dad and stuff. And then I got really sick and stuff. And so I'm just starting to work on a schedule again for maybe like the last 3 weeks or so. The diabetes thing has thrown a real wrench in that, because I had a really great routine worked out, and now I've got to add all these other things to it. So I've just got to figure it out. And I guess here's the advantage of being kind of detached from stuff, is it doesn't upset me that a wrench was thrown into it. And the diabetes actually doesn't upset me either. It's more like, oh, this is really fascinating, checking my blood sugar levels and figuring out how different things affect it and stuff. That's really kind of weird, isn't it? But I guess at least it's not depressing me, and it's not stressing me out, because stress is another thing that's really bad. So anyway, so yeah, I'm working on a daily schedule. And then she says, we all need to remember that this process isn't about quitting the drug that the character was on. It's about getting to the heart of things that triggered you to rely on it in the first place. And it's about recreating your life. The drug will leave a void. And I thought, you know what? My life for the last 2.5 years has been mainly about grief. And I really don't think I'm addicted to grief. I've really thought about that and prayed about it. I don't think I'm addicted to it, but I think that it has taken up such a big part of my life that I need to have other things replace that. And I'm at no shortage of things to replace it. So I don't need suggestions on that because I have my books. I have Bill's estate that I'm still working on. I have my house to clean up, which that's another whole matter I might talk about in a different video. And just like, you know, a million different things. I have more than enough on my plate and it stresses me out. But I need to use those things to start replacing grief. And I think like when I'm tempted to just go to bed and pull the covers over my head and cry, which I haven't been doing very much of lately, but I do like sometimes feel really dull and everything. And when I get onto a video, I come alive and I suddenly feel like I have energy and stuff. And so I think that's a good replacement for when I start feeling really emotionally dull and achy and stuff. That might be a good thing to do. And then here's a thing that just really struck me. She said, last but not least, we'll be conscientious about celebrating the good. And she says, every choice you make that helps you avoid relapse is worth valuing and acknowledging. And I was thinking, you know, I like that idea of celebrating everything. I think if you're trying to get dopamine started again, probably the best way to do that is by looking for all the good things, you know, being grateful, which I have been working on a lot lately, but just anything that's good, you know, like just going, oh, I like my background, even though it's fake, it gives me a lot of joy. It's really pretty. Or, oh, I got to do a video before I went to bed tonight. Or, oh, somebody made a really nice comment on one of my videos. Or a reader wrote to me, not just taking those things in stride, but being happy about them and taking a moment to celebrate them. And I know that a lot of people are suffering through depression right now because of, you know, the lockdowns are over, but we haven't recovered from that. And so a lot of people are really depressed and everything. And so I thought if you're going through something like that, maybe you can do some of these things along with me and maybe let me know, because that would really encourage me. If you're saying, okay, you know what, I like that idea of celebrating everything that I can find to celebrate. So I'm going to do that with you too. And that doesn't mean you have to go like eat a piece of cake or something. It just means going, wow, yay, that's really wonderful. This is great that this happened. Or thank you, so-and-so, or Lord, thank you for doing this. Thank you for the trees being so green, you know, just things that we take for granted and stuff. And I just think that's going to help me a lot. And maybe it'll help you too. And so maybe if we work on this together. So for what that's worth, that's what I wanted to share today. And I want to share with you about my house. It's really embarrassing, but I'm going to do that in a different video. And I'm going to be incredibly vulnerable, you guys. But I have learned that if I'm going through something, I'm not the only person. And so I just want to share this because I think it really might help somebody else. And also because it's part of my story. and I just think that I think too often on social media, we just show the good stuff and we don't show the hard stuff and the struggles and the things that we're afraid people are going to look down at us about. I mean, I hear other women gossiping about women who are struggling with things like what I'm going to share with you. And so I feel really vulnerable sharing it. But at the same time, I think that when I hear people gossiping about stuff like that, first of all, I go home and I cry. But I also then I don't want to let anybody know me. I don't want people to know that I'm struggling with that problem. And I don't think that's how we're supposed to be as Christians. I think we're supposed to be open with each other. And so I think that my sharing is part of helping others to see that it's normal. We all struggle through different things and we all need encouragement and love, not condemnation. All right, so that'll probably be like tomorrow or the next day. All right, I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.